I want to welcome Agile XRM to the podcast. I've known the people at Agile XRM for the past 12 years. I've seen how their business process management tool can add massive value to complex organizational processes in sectors such as finance and government. If you have complex processes or a need for dialogues on the Power Platform or Dynamics 365, take a look at how this BPM tool can add value. You can find them at agilexrm.com or check out the show notes for more details. Welcome to the MVP Show. My intention is that you listen to the stories of these MVP guests and are inspired to become an MVP and bring value to the world through your skills. If you have not checked it out already, I do a YouTube series called How to Become an MVP. The link is in the show notes. With that, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is from the US. He works at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital as a senior Microsoft Power Platform solution architect and developer. His first award is MVP in 2023. He creates innovative software solutions that enhance business efficiency, raising the industry's standards of excellence, and he is a loving owner of an endearing cat. You can find links to his bio and social media, etc. in the show notes for this episode. Ahmed, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you on. How long ago did you become an MVP?
It's actually just last July, last month. That's when I received my award. I was nominated like 4 months prior to July, back in February, I think, late February. And I didn't know anything about actually the MVP program until I met one of the community Power Platform super users in the last year Power Platform conference in Orlando, Florida. And he obviously noticed the work that I'm doing in the community by providing answers and getting, my answers marked as solutions. I became super user in July of last year. And he introduced me to the MVP program and then eventually asked me if I'm willing to be nominated. And I said yes. And that was how I became MVP.
Wow, this is such a good story. Tell me a bit about what you do outside of technology. Tell me a bit about food, family, and fun, and that cat of yours.
So I'm a father of 4 kids. So I have 2 high schoolers, 1 middle school, and 1 in elementary. So very busy. A lot of people ask me, where do you find time between work and the community? And I'm really grateful for the family support. So they understand how important this to me, and they are 100% supportive. The time I record, the time I am busy writing articles or blogs overnight, very, very supportive. So very family oriented man. So it's either work, or home. And now obviously the community is my third partner. I love outdoor. So I used to play hockey when I was in middle school, ice hockey. And now, a little bit, old, I guess. So I do inline skating. So I take my kids, they all know how to skate. So we go to skate. Outdoor, we love camping. We love hiking, traveling, in road trips, long and short, that especially in the United States, you can travel for 16, 17, 20 hours, from one state to another. And other than that is just really is the excitement and the satisfaction you get by helping other in the community. Whether it's actually, related to the Power Apps or anything other than the Power Apps.
You covered almost everything except for food.
Yes. So this is the thing, because I'm on diet. So
you're not talking about it.
So I love food. This is the thing. So I love all type of cuisines. Obviously I grew up in United Arab Emirates. between Abu Dhabi and Al Ain. And over there, the food culture is very diverse. A lot of Indian, a lot of Lebanese, a lot of, Syrian and Mediterranean food. I'm originally from Sudan, so also the Sudanese cuisine is there. Here in Memphis, Tennessee, it's the barbecue city, right? So it's all these, beautiful barbecue and sauce, but I have high cholesterol, pre-diabetes, and obviously I have from my mom's side, she type 2 diabetes and also high cholesterol. So a year ago, this is when it became very serious that they had to put me in medication to control my cholesterol and stuff. So that's why I'm taking it slow now in food. So basically, I try to eat healthy, exercise daily, and just taking care of my body. And I think it's taking care of my body, helping me even to take care of my mind, especially with, amount of work that we do in tech and to have family, you need to take care of yourself sometimes. And I found it is just like, taking care of my diet and exercise is actually definitely is the way to go. And this is one of my goals actually, before, earning my next MVP is to lose at least 40 pounds.
Nice. I know. I understand that struggle. How long has it been since you've been to the Sudan?
Oh, yeah, it's actually been a long time. I actually came to the US back in 2009, and that was from Sudan. So after I finished college, I finished my college in Egypt. And then after I finished in 2005, I went to Sudan. I worked in Sudan, and I came here in 2009. And because all my immediate family members here, so they all in Colorado, so my mom, my dad, my siblings. So I didn't have really to travel back. So I don't have like really immediate family members to go visit. So I didn't go, but my wife from Egypt and obviously we just have to follow the wife's steps, and her family is still in Egypt. So we travel to Egypt, vacations.
The closest I've been to Sudan is Eritrea.
Ethiopia. Oh, you've been to Eritrea. That's awesome.
I've worked there. I worked for 2 weeks there. This was like
very close culture. There's a lot of Eritreans that lives in Sudan, and we share a lot of traditions. Whether it's talking about apparel traditions or cultural tradition in marriages and stuff like that. Obviously, the food as well. There's a lot of similarities.
Do you know what a zibib is?
No, I don't. So what is the ingredients?
It was an Eritrean alcohol. Well, it was Eritrean spirit that they made, and they called.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was two. The other one I can't remember, but it was made from honey, and it was in a gourd type, and I was invited to a wedding while I was there, and they were handing these around, and I'm the foreigner, right? And
I bet that was very strong, right?
Well, the thing is, I drank it, and I'm like, wow, this is so tasty, right? Because it was made from honey, and I'm drinking, and the older people are going, they're like, and what happened is that it just knocked me out. It was so strong, as you say, and then for the next 12 hours, they pretty much carried me around, and it was so strong, and but it tasted so good to start with, so it was good fun.
So I don't drink. I'm a Muslim, so alcohol is not part of the religion. And in Sudan specifically, I don't think until I left Sudan there was no legally you can sell or buy alcohol in the whole country.
So this was all homemade. And the thing is that I'm sure that the wedding I went to, it can't have been, because, the Muslim culture was all around where I was, the mosques and everything like that. So I don't know the specific wedding I went to, what their religious beliefs were, because I never understood any of it. But it was all. Do they speak Arabic there or Tigrinya? I think their native languages. But yeah, it was interesting. It was definitely alcohol though.
It's like I believe all the homemade liquor is very strong. You have the moonshine, and even in Sudan it was obviously illegal. But still people also, people who drinks, they still make it at home. And it's very similar to the moonshine.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
interesting. Tell me about your specialization. What area in the Power Platform or Dynamics suite of products, what's your specialized area? What are you most attracted to?
So I, in 2019, I started with SharePoint and Power Apps, and just a hint that I'm a software developer. I'm a .NET developer. So I was, heavily since 2005 all the way to 2011, I was .NET developer developing application based on geographical information systems using ESRI technology, which is Environmental System Research Institute. So anything related to digital mappings, whether we build standalone applications or web application based on these digital maps. I moved to IT in around 2013, and then I wanted to just be like more kind of going to the IT ladder to become eventually like, IT manager and, manage IT teams. So I went through, system admins. But in 2019, we had this project that I wanted to build in-house, product to using SharePoint and Power Apps. That was my first actually interaction with Power Apps. And I found it very obviously for someone as a pro developer, using Power FX. It's kind of like a piece of cake, we call it. You understand the logic behind, these type of formulas, and you can definitely learn it very fast. And that's exactly what happened. Within 6 months, I have a full product that was based on SharePoint. But when I got my recent job or my current job in St. Jude, I had to interact with Dataverse. And in Dataverse actually was something new for me. And then I became very kind of like passionate about Dataverse, really. And I really love Dataverse. And I'm a big advocate for Dataverse, obviously, when it comes to which data source you select when you're building Power Apps. So it's been mainly around building Power Apps, Canvas apps, SharePoint, SQL as data source, or also, Dataverse as well, and model-driven app heavily, and also heavily customizing model-driven app using JavaScripts as well. So yeah. And recently, I started working also with Dynamics 365 F&O, and that was new for me. And I was shocked about how we can integrate Power Apps, Canvas apps with Dynamics F&O for these seamless, process driving small tiny apps that you can open in each form to do a lot of these, processes that you have to jump from one screen to another in Dynamics F&O to do a certain process. You can just have it in one app that will actually pop up to the side of your screen and just do everything. Not to mention that you can interact also with the data using the Power Automate, in cases like we had to do certain kind of calculation and decide about the financial dimensions. And it was all based on Power Automate. And to be honest, I know that the content that we have as documentation and think it's not really enough. And I think part of the reason, even though that maybe there is a lot of people that, or at least, many people works with Dynamics F&O and Power Apps, is obviously the licensing, and you cannot find more than I think 3 months or maybe even a month if I remember, for a tenant to test or to play with Dynamics F&O and Power Apps. But I believe that's a great opportunity for for most of the customers who are using Dynamic F&O and they want to just simplify the process or even add some kind of customization, to make Dynamics F&O is, really UX friendly, because I think it's a great product. 100%. I didn't know anything about F&O until I worked in this, recent project, but really, very, very powerful. And, I believe it's a rough user experience with the amount of, steps that some people that they have or some users that they have to do to do certain tasks, specifically if you have any kind of customized modules there that might even add to the roughness of the user experience. And Power Apps there is just play a role that is just unbelievably is how it's easy, it's fun, it's it's amazing.
The 90-Day Mentoring Challenge is a comprehensive program to help you take your Microsoft Business Application career to the next level. Since 2018, more than 790 people from 67 countries have benefited from this program. I've heard from past participants that the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge helped them advance their careers, from switching jobs, starting companies, to gaining industry recognition like MVP Award or full-time employment at Microsoft. Enrollments are currently open for the next cohort, which starts on the 1st of January, 2024. Find out more at ako.nz365guy.com. That's ako.nz365guy.com. Yeah, powerful tool, and I love the way that you've done your transition and seen, what's available. I mean, SAP is at another level again of when SAP customers inlay Power Apps to part of the story, it's a game changer and very powerful, when you use it on these traditional ERP systems that are they're not UX, UI friendly. They're very, systematized in what their function is to do. So no, that's an interesting observation. Tell me about resources for new learners, beginners, that type of thing. What are you doing in that space?
Okay, so for the resources that I would definitely recommend, and again, it's part of my experience. So I'm one of the first Microsoft Power App or Power Up program champs or instructors. And we get to meet. I actually just finished a session that almost 2 hours with first week in the program for new actually cohort. And from there, we see all these different backgrounds, and you will be surprised. I have people like, I would say 90% of the people, that comes to learn Power Apps and know about the Power Platform are non-technical people. And this is completely fine. The matter of fact, it was meant for that. And actually, we call the Power Up program, it's the career switcher program to help you actually to switch career.
Is this internal to St. Jude, or is it external?
No. This is a Microsoft program. So the Microsoft Power Up program, yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And having all this experience in the community and even my personal learning experience. But again, being pro developers or technical people, we know how to read SDKs, like software development kits and data modeling and object modelings. But for someone non-technical, sometimes it might be even hard for them to search for the right word or technical term to find the right answer, even in Google, right? So that's when it comes into play. I think that Microsoft Learn is phenomenal. I personally went through them when I first started in 2009, just quickly, go through the whole thing just to know what this Power Platform is. And it's just amazing, from reading from one page to another, take you step at a time. And then you have all these labs that you can go through and implement stuff and see the result of it. Even showing you how to sign up for developer plans and have your own environments. It's just amazing. So definitely learning path is number one. Number two is the community forum. And again, in 2019, 2020, and 2021, I was that person who actually go search for something in Google. I found the answer that come in the first page. I click, it takes me to the Microsoft Power App forum. But I just read the answer and then I go and solve it, and that's it. It's done. It's easy, and so I don't need to subscribe. I did not register until I think I registered in 2019, but just to go and look into the questions and see if it's something relevant to what I'm doing. But really signing up and registering this community, not only going there to just find what you're looking for, you can actually just go and ask questions. Don't just go and scroll down and ask a question and you will get answer. by going there and just reading, exploring these different issues and see the solutions, that's another learning path that you can take. And it's very, very, very efficient because these are life projects issues people are having. And you always gonna have like this back and forth of discussions, which is make you understand the root of the problem and even change your mindset of how, if you decided to post a question, how you're gonna post that question. So that's going to be number 2 is in learning path, Microsoft Learning Path. Number 2 is going to be the Microsoft Forum. Number 3 is going to be this is not a theoretical field. You have to have a developer environment for free. You can have a Microsoft Office 365 developer program where you can have a full tenant with even users and all licensed, and you can have multiple environments. Go there and build apps. Just keep building apps. Every time you watch a video, you see an article, a blog, just go ahead and try to play with it and build it and test different functions. You have obviously the documentation, which is very well organized, and you can go through these functions. All the functions, I mean, they are inclusive. I mean, you can count them, you can actually play with them, and you can cover them maybe in a month. And you know what each function does. And in the documentation, you have the function description, you have the syntax, and you have examples, which is just amazing. Like it's just, so that's definitely building apps using the documentations. It's going to be my third way of learning. And again, programs, workshops by Microsoft partners. I know that they make these, Power App in a day, or, virtual agent in a day, or Power BI. So all these, free workshops are amazing resources for someone, considered to be a beginner.
Yeah, I like it. So useful. We're already at our time for the recording, but I want to ask you one last thing around how you juggle and handle the pace of technology change. How do you balance life, the constant new features, since AI has come out, generative AI, large language models, etc., has come out since December last year. We have seen more than an explosion of new things to learn, get up to speed with. How do you balance?
Yeah, see, this is a big deal. I mean, this is Microsoft Power Platform, and I think low code, no code in general, and ERP in general, it's a very, very fast evolving technologies. And really, you have to have a strategy for it. And my strategy is, first of all, is subscribing to those newsletters where actually Microsoft announce any kind of like new updates, new features and preview and stuff like that. They have actually now also the release planner where you can subscribe and see what is live now that you can try, what is even planned, and what is have been already in general availability. And you can subscribe to a certain area, maybe like Dynamics 365 CRM, new updates. And every time there is an update there coming, either it's a planned update or it's something that now it's in preview, you get actually notification. You cannot just go and look up to see like, okay, today I'm going to go and look for like, what is new. You have to have a strategy to sign up, to register, to have these, email organized folder and rules where new stuff come, for in certain places in your email, and you can check it out. And then from there, obviously, I just try to really set a certain time for my own technical growth and the community. So I would say like it's about 14 hours a week, and that's it. So I have 40 hours in my job. 14 hours is a community and technical growth, following up with all these new features, new updates. And then the rest of the time, if there is a time rest, is actually, obviously, it's the time that I can get relieved, stay with the family, and, have just the, quality life after that.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and want to be a supporter, check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again, and see you next time.